Okay, so knowing that we have a situation with the war in the Middle East with Iran, we're going to do a take on Donald Trump and the way he looks at the prices in effect right now because of the war. Now, do you think that Pierre Poilievre would share the same sentiments as Donald Trump or somewhat different? This is the question to the Canadian electorate. I'm going to show you right now. Professor Lichman will explain Trump as far as food prices, et cetera, and how Trump would look at it in real time right now. And then after you look at that, what would you think Pierre Poilievre would do? Would he do the same as Trump or differently? So let's see what Lippman says about Trump first.
Did you see Trump today saying he doesn't think about Americans' finances regarding rising prices? He then called the reporter dumb. Did you see that?
I did see that. There's a little more nuance to it. He said he doesn't care about rising prices when it comes to decisions about the war. So he did kind of qualify. Didn't say in a blanket way he doesn't care about rising prices. But you got to care about the domestic implications of what you're doing in Iran. You don't operate in a vacuum. You are the president of 340 million Americans, and what is happening in their lives has to be taken into account. Of course, you don't care because you're a billionaire and your friends are billionaires and multimillionaires. They're insulated from all of this.
This is from member.
Okay. So we're going to move on to a different question soon, but now, what do you think? Under the real circumstances right now, how would Pierre Poilievre handle gas prices, food prices, and inflation towards Canadians? How would he handle policy-wise to make a difference? What do you think? And then we're going to move to the next question. And I'm going to move to the next question right now, next screen. But first, we're on the comments section. What do you think? How do you think Pierre Poilievre, would he act in the same manner that Donald Trump would? Would he act in the same manner as Mark Carney? What would he do to make a difference for Canadians under the present situation with the war in Iran, Strait of Hormuz being gridlocked, food prices, energy prices, and inflation towards the Canadians? How would Pierre Poilievre actually conduct his affairs and policies towards average Canadians? Let me know. And now we're going to switch to the next screen and the next question. Okay, so after this next question, do you think Pierre Poilievre should do the exact same as Donald Trump has done? Or do you think Pierre Poilievre, if he was prime minister, should do things differently? Now, this is a question regarding U.S. politics, but you're going to see a response how Trump has acted. And based on the actions of Trump, then the answer here, you're going to make a statement and make comments in the comments section as to what you think Pierre Poilievre would actually do during this period in time under the same circumstance. Let me know what you think. But first, let's hear the question and the response.
In wave function, they say. I don't think we can replicate the FDR World War II economy due to outsourcing of major infrastructuring industries to China, and America is no longer the major manufacturing hub. But do you think forging relationships with India, Vietnam, Mexico, and other Latin American countries will help boost the U.S. economy and compete with China?
Absolutely. But again, we're not going to do it by propping up obsolete coal-fired plants like Trump is doing, spending money on that, plants that should be shut down, spending money to shut down solar and wind-powered energy. We're only going to do it if we get into the 21st century and don't try to go back to the smokestack economy of the 20th century.
Okay, so here's the question now, and this is where you need to comment. Will Pierre Poilievre go back to a smokestack economy, or would he keep wind, solar, renewables in the forefront and move in that direction? What do you think? Now, comment in the comments section. And now we're going to move to the next question in the last question in this video. My apologies. I have one more question beforehand. We're going to hear Professor Littman here. Take it away, Professor. And this, I'll ask the question after we listen to the professor here.
7.5%.
Yeah, it was cents to the acre.
Right. This is from Apar Helger. They say, will there be a national reckoning with Trump?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay.
To the extent that I think the Republicans will be soundly beaten in 2026. Yes. Beyond that, until there's a Democratic House or the Senate, there will be no reckoning for Trump. Understand, people are baffled. Why does Trump keep doing this? Why is he lying? Why is he unconcerned with ordinary Americans? He's been doing this for over 50 years and never been held accountable and been fabulously successful. He's a billionaire. He's been elected twice as president. Why in the world would he change anything?
Okay, so here's the question. Why in the world would Pierre Poilievre change his way? He had a 25-point lead over Mark Carney. He lost that. He had a riding in Carleton and Ottawa for 20 years. He lost that. So he did a by-election in Alberta, a separatist province now under Danielle Smith, and managed to get elected in Alberta, which is no surprise, a slam dunk for a conservative in Alberta based on present conditions. But are we going to see Pierre Poilievre change his ways? Because obviously Trump hasn't changed his ways. Pierre Poilievre, you've seen a smidgen of possibly changing his ways, but he's gone back to the critic, the basher, and other than Joe Rogan interview and a few other things, he hasn't changed whatsoever. So let us know in the comments section. Would Pierre Poilievre change if he was prime minister, or would he just continue with this bashing politics and creating disharmony and hurting people? What do you think? That's the question. Let us know in the comments section. Now, secondly, this will be the fourth question. I'm going to talk about environmental deregulation. That's the most important thing. I'm going to switch to another screen here first. Okay, so Sam called this race. I don't see any point to reiterate what Sam said, but he took the leader, Kevin. So we're going to go to the next question here. The next question is, let's switch screens here. So the next question is going to be, would Pierre Poilievre deregulate in order to satisfy the needs of Danielle Smith? And if Pierre Poilievre was prime minister, if he deregulated environmentally, he says he wants to repeal all these bills, by him doing that, would that actually help Canada in the present, in the immediate? That is the question to you. Let's see what these guys have to say.
Yes.
Because we just,
Lay
got
the
a big
groundwork
chunk
here first.
At the top of the hour.
top of the hour. What time is it now?
10:05.
No, we got that more than 5 minutes ago.
I was going to
Yeah,
stream
I
the
think so, too.
election results here, but
How
I'm
about
not
we
gonna
give it
bother.
another 10 minutes and
All
see
right, if we
get
got
anything.
questions.
You want to talk about the Trump administration repealing a Biden-era rule that would allow public lands to be leased for conservation purposes, abandoning an effort to protect millions of acres from both industrial development and the effects of climate change.
Another horrific Trump policy, along with, abrogating the Clean Power Rule and so many other regulations designed to protect our environment. He wants to leave, Sam, your children, your grandchildren, with a ravaged country despoiled by oil and gas and mining and drilling and development, destruction of habitat, destruction of endangered species, all to do nothing more. And I can't stress this too much. All to do nothing more than to make his rich friends and his rich donors even richer.
I don't like that at all.
It's horrible. It's horrific.
We're almost at 500 left.
Okay. So this is the question now. Would you allow Pierre Poilievre to do the exact same thing that Trump has done under the present conditions without concern for the environment? Or would you actually say this is not the direction we need to go in? What would you do under the same circumstance? Allow Pierre Poilievre to deregulate? It would make Danielle Smith happy because she claims it's Ottawa that's holding her back. I disagree. I just don't think the investments, private investors are there. That's why it hasn't happened. But she's telling her electorate differently. She's telling Canadians differently. What do you actually think? Let me know in the comments section. And before leaving, as I said, we can always restructure things differently. You can do things differently. The economy, everything can be redone, and how things are done, the framework of how the economy works can be redone. So you can choose between pain and suffering, or working together in a benevolent manner with empathy and sympathy to create abundance for all Canadians. Of course, that would mean starting by being kind to yourself, your family, and your neighbors first and foremost. So that's the questions I pose for people tonight. Conservatives today, would you change just for the sake of the dollar? And would that really work and create a different environment for Canadians quicker than the direction that the country's being taken in right now? Obviously, the results of what's going on in America should tell you. That should be a guiding light as to if it's working or not. Would Pierre Poilievre change anything to make any difference? Questions, comments, let me know. Love and peace to everyone. Take care. Ciao for now.